When we create a task and require the entry of information, validating the data and format is essential to ensure that the information entered meets all the desired criteria. For this, we have a series of conditions that can be assigned to the elements of the task. Let's see how they work. The options for the text element where you can validate information to be entered are the following. For the text subtype, you can validate the length, setting a maximum and minimum limits of characters. We can also validate that the information entered is an URL where it has to have the format HTTP or HTTPS. Finally, we can also validate that it is an email where we have to have a user at domain. For the number subtype, we can establish the limits of the values that will be entered. It should be clarified that more than one validation can be added to the element, but URL validation cannot be combined with email validation in the same element, since it would create a conflict. Now let's look at some case study. Let's add an item. We will provide it a name and a code, then select that it is a text type. Now the first validation we will use will be the length. Let's put the comparator to be greater than 2 characters. We can add a custom error text if we don't want to use the default one in KuFlow. This helps us to give more details to the user about the format or data that we need to enter. Let's add a second text. And here we will use a double validation to validate a lower limit and an upper limit of the number of characters that the user can enter. Now let's add a web address. The validation will be that it has to have the specific format of HTTP or HTTPS. We add one for email. The validation will be email, and in the same way we will inform the user with a message how is the format we expect. Let's now add some numbers to validate. In the first validation, it will be that the number will have to be less than 20 and it will be greater than 10. In the second number that we will add, what we are going to do is that the validation only allows you to enter a certain value. Save. And we are going to start our process to verify how validations work. In the first, we have the text. Let's go writing. It must be larger than 2 characters, always with plain text, and can be a single or multi-line. In the second case, we had to have a minimum of 5 characters, but no more than 10 characters. Now let's go with the web address. If we write simply without HTTP or HTTPS, it will give us an error, and the message appears below indicating what is the expected format. We add the format, and we are OK. Now let's go for email. In the same way, if we enter anything that does not have the format user at domain, it will give us an error. With the number, we said we will establish a maximum and a minimum value that must be entered. Remember that the comparators we had are the following: less than, less or equal to, greater or equal to, and greater than. And for the last one, we should only enter an allowed value.